kicking it off tomorrow with Eagles and Falcons. And Ross Tucker will be on the sidelines for Westwood 1 with all the action. And, of course, you can hear it right here on 97.3 ESPN. Ross, welcome back to the show, pal. How you been?
It is my pleasure. I'm doing great, and I'm fired up for this weekend. I'm the only Pennsylvania kid that'll be at both the Eagles and the Steelers games, which is incredible.
Nice. Well, obviously, where we are, our listening audience, although we do have some Steeler fans, kind of spattered in here, a lot of Eagles fans wanting to know how this game is going to look tomorrow. First off, the Eagles obviously had that unfortunate injury with Wentz, and now Foles is in there. How much do you think that has changed the dynamic of their ceiling?
Oh, dramatically. I think that they would have been the clear-cut NFC favorite if he hadn't gotten hurt and have a very realistic chance to win the Super Bowl against either the Steelers or the Patriots. Without him, you can see they're already the underdog just in the first game against the Falcons. And even if they win against the Falcons, really hard for me to imagine them actually being able to win 2 games. I can see them. I feel like this Falcons game is a 50-50 game. I can see them winning that game. I have a tough time picturing them, stacking another win against either the Vikings or the Saints on top of that.
Okay, so what we've seen from them is limited without Wentz. But do you like the way they have game planned for Nick Foles, or do you think over these last 2 weeks that they needed to go back to the drawing board and maybe do some things different for him?
Well, I think that they absolutely have to try something different. He's been terrible. I have a tough time coming to grips with how he was looking that good against the Giants and then that bad the last 2 weeks. He has been awful. And that's the thing, they don't need him to be great. They just need him to not be awful. He just needs to convert a couple third downs and not turn the football over, and they can beat the Falcons, I think. Based on what we saw against the Raiders and the Cowboys, I'm not sure he's capable of even doing that.
Ross Tucker will have the call on Westwood 1 for Eagles and Falcons. Eagles defense, they're a problem, right? The Falcons line, not great. They got the backup guard in there. Will match up with Fletcher Cox. They had problems last week with the Rams. So is that an area that you think Philadelphia can really control?
Well, not only do I think they can, they're going to have to, right? Aaron Donald destroyed those 2 guards for the Falcons last week. The problem is they still lost 26-13. That's how well Matt Ryan was moving in the pocket. He was doing a terrific job. He was getting the ball out, and he was playing at a really high level, like you would expect a guy that's paid that much and has played that much postseason football to play. So they need Fletcher Cox more than anybody to step his game up, and they're going to slide to him. They're going to try to double him just like they did Aaron Donald. I will say this, though. Aaron Donald was splitting double teams. Aaron Donald was still causing havoc. I also think that the Eagles' other D tackle, Tim Jernigan, is a better penetrator than what the Rams had. Jernigan, whoever else is in there, is going to have a big game as well. They're going to have to, point blank, dominate up front both sides of the ball. They got a bunch of Pro Bowlers. They got a couple first-team All-Pro O-linemen. They are going to have to dominate up front both sides of the ball to win this game. I think they can. I'm not sure they will.
Ross, Atlanta had a bye in Week 5, so they have played pretty much, consistently since October. They had to travel to L.A. last week, back to Atlanta, now up to Philly. They were 4-4, so they've essentially been playing playoff games for a while here, while Philly has kind of coasted into their season. Does that have any effect on this game that Atlanta, is coming in with a lot of momentum? They haven't had a bye since Week 5, and Philly's kind of been hanging around. Does that make you lean one way or the other?
Not really. You can argue that either way, right?
Yeah.
You can argue that the Falcons are on a roll. They're kind of used to this. They've been in the playoffs for a month. They just come out and play. The Eagles might be rusty. The Eagles might be sluggish. Or you can argue, well, the Eagles are rested. The Falcons have been through the ringer. To me, any analysis of that always ends up being in hindsight. You know, like after the game, we'll say, well, see, the Eagles were fresh. That's why they came out. Or, you know, the Falcons were, you know, that's all in hindsight. Because people say, well, look, the Rams rested their guys, and look what happened. Well, I got news for you. The Chiefs rested their guys, and they came out and they were up 21-3. They weren't sluggish. They weren't anything other than ready to go. Now, you know, their best offensive player got hurt, Travis Kelce, and then one of their best defensive players, Chris Jones, got hurt, and they blew it in the second half. But that wasn't because they rested some of their key guys in Week 17.
Ross Tucker, Westwood won. He'll have the call for Eagles and Falcons. Before we get your pick, Ross, tell us about ballcannon.com. This thing sounds pretty cool.
It really is. It's from a guy from my hometown in Reading, PA. It's kind of like a jugs machine that you see the Eagles catching passes off, except it's lightweight, portable, and it's for recreational use. It's for your kid, I don't know, 4 or 5, all the way up to 15, 16. I've seen even older people that absolutely love it because you can change the launch angle, you can change the speed. It even has a delay feature so you can catch passes yourself. I mean, that's what the teenagers love doing. They hit the button, run around, turn around, and catch it. So it's pretty awesome, man. Anybody that maybe didn't get everything they were hoping for in the holidays, you got a birthday coming up, or even if you're just kids really into football, highly encourage you to check out ballcannon.com. Check out the videos over there or anywhere on social media. It's been really cool to see everybody getting so excited about the gift they got for the holidays.
Ballcannon.com. We'll tweet out that link for our listeners. Ross, all right, Philly, Atlanta in the link here. Philly's an underdog at home. That story's been, talked up a lot. Who do you like tomorrow in Philly and why?
I really do think it's a toss-up game because I do think that the Eagles' offensive and defensive line will get the better of the action. It's in Philly, which is significant. I think the crowd will be going crazy. Hopefully they're not booing Nick Foles. Hopefully they're going crazy just when the Falcons are on offense. But I ultimately can't do it. I mean, in the end, I'm going to say 17-13, the Falcons win. It's hard for me to watch the way Matt Ryan's been playing recently and the way Nick Foles played the last 2 times I watched him, and to think that the Nick Foles team will beat the Matt Ryan team. It might happen, like I said. I think it's a flip of the coin, but I'm going to go with the much better quarterback, 17-13 Falcons.
Ross Tucker, Westwood won, and don't forget ballcannon.com. He'll have the call tomorrow for Eagles and Falcons. Ross, we appreciate the time, pal. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime.
All right. Former NFL offensive lineman Ross Tucker. Listen to the Ross Tucker podcast as well. He's all over the place talking football and kind enough to join us here on the Sports Bash.